Ravens fan, you're going to want to stay until the end, because what I have to tell you will shake everything up. Imagine being in the middle of a decisive game, with adrenaline through the roof, and suddenly, there's news that could change the course of the entire season. Justice Hill's injury is not just another random injury. It's a huge blow to the team, and it will impact more than you think. It's going to affect the offense, and the consequences could be severe. If you're wondering how this will influence the upcoming games, stay here, because what's coming next will leave you speechless and could be the key to everything ahead. Go Ravens! When the game against the Steelers started, the Ravens were on fire, and Justice Hill seemed to be a key piece for the victory. He had been playing well, with fast and consistent runs, being one of the main contributors to moving the offense. But in the second quarter, right after a 25-yard run, Hill took a hard hit and fell with his head on the ground. The injury was serious, and soon the doctors confirmed he wouldn't return to the game, leaving Baltimore without one of their most explosive and unpredictable players. For a team that relies heavily on the running game, losing Hill was a major blow. This injury didn't just affect the physical side of the Ravens' offense, but also the team's mentality. Hill wasn't just another player on the roster. He was the spark that ignited the most dynamic and unpredictable plays. Without him, Lamar Jackson and the other offensive players would have to give everything to make up for his absence. The pace of the game changed immediately, and the pressure on the rest of the team only grew. Hill's absence affected not only the offensive game plan, but also the team's morale, as they saw one of their best players go down at the most crucial moment. Now, the question was, how would the Ravens adapt without him? This would force a shift in the offense, pushing Lamar Jackson to take on more responsibilities and play an even more decisive role in leading the team. Without Hill, Baltimore's running game was compromised, and that completely changed the dynamics of the situation was tougher now, but the Ravens had to find a way to move forward, and the rest of the team needed to rally together to fill the gap left by Hill. The pressure was on Lamar Jackson's shoulders, who knew that, without Hill, the offense would need his leadership more than ever. When Hill left, the Ravens' game lost some of its power. Before the injury, Baltimore had been moving efficiently down the field with fast and explosive plays. Hill's injury, however, forced the team to reorganize. Even with a great play from Lamar Jackson and a beautiful pass to Rashad Bateman that put the Ravens ahead 14-7, Hill's absence made the offense lose some of its unpredictability. Hill was the guy who could break out for a long run at any moment, and without him, the Steelers became more confident in stopping the other offensive players. Moreover, the team had to deal not just with the loss of a key player, but also with a shift in the game. Lamar Jackson had to step up, but he knew that with the Steelers' defense pressuring every play, it would be harder to create those explosive plays that Hill used to guarantee. The team's confidence was shaken, and the offense needed to adjust quickly to maintain momentum, especially in such an important. Every possession became a battle, and any mistake could prove costly. The impact of Hill's injury was more than physical, it was emotional. The team had to turn the situation around and not let this setback define. With the second half beginning in a narrow lead, the team needed to find a way to keep pushing forward with Jackson leading, but now without one of his biggest allies on offense. What remained was to focus on execution and find ways to keep building plays without losing steam. But the pressure was on every pass and run, and staying ahead was no longer optional. It was a necessity. This game against the Steelers had even more weight than any other this season. In addition to being crucial for the AFC North race, it was also a direct clash against the division's biggest rival, Pittsburgh. In recent years, the Steelers have dominated this rivalry, winning 8 of the last 9 meetings, including a tight win in the current season. For Baltimore, it was much more than just a win. It was a chance to prove that the Ravens were still a legitimate threat to end the losing streak and to take control of the division. This game could be the one that changed the entire mentality of the team heading into the playoffs. With Hill out and added pressure on the offense, the team needed to show they didn't rely on just one player. Every running back, every receiver, and of course Lamar Jackson had to step up even more than expected. For the Ravens, winning this game would mean a vital boost to the team's morale, especially because beating the Steelers would finally break the losing streak. The team's confidence could be renewed, and a victory would bring fresh energy, something the team needed to face the tougher opponents that would come later in the season. This one would be a matter of honor, a chance to show that the Ravens were no longer at the mercy of the Steelers. They knew the season was on the line, and that if they wanted to keep their chances of winning the division alive, they had to impose their will and dominate the rest of the game. And with Hill out, this victory would be even more significant, as it would prove that Baltimore could overcome any obstacle and keep moving forward, no matter what. Well, we're past the halfway point of the video, but I noticed you haven't liked this video yet. That's really important for YouTube to keep recommending my content to you, and I'll keep bringing it to you. So, hit that like button, it's free. Thanks. Now, let's continue. The pressure on the Ravens to end the Steelers' dominance has never been higher. Not having beaten Pittsburgh since 2022 and watching the rivalry become a field of loss after loss left everyone on the team carrying a heavy weight. With every game, the frustration grew. It felt like every time Baltimore was about to achieve something important, Pittsburgh was there to remind them who was in charge of the division. For the Ravens, this game wasn't just about making the playoffs or any other victory. It was about breaking the cycle of losses and showing that things were changing. With Hill out, the challenge for Baltimore became even greater. Without him, the team was missing one of its most important weapons in the running game, meaning they would have to find other ways to be effective. The defense also knew it had to give its best to limit Pittsburgh's offense. But the pressure on the offense was even more evident. With Lamar Jackson needing to be perfect and lead the team, the task of beating the Steelers became even more difficult. Every mistake could mean another year of frustration and defeat for the Ravens. But the win would mean much more than ending a losing streak. It would be a clear sign that Baltimore had finally found the way back to the top of the division. With Lamar Jackson taking responsibility, the team was determined to prove that, even without Hill, nothing could stop the Ravens from achieving what they were after, a win that would reverse the entire narrative of the rival. Now, without Justice Hill, all eyes were on Lamar Jackson. He knew that he was the one to carry the team and would have to take even more control of the situation. The Steelers have an aggressive defense, with players like TJ, Watt, and Minkah Fitzpatrick, who are always hunting for mistakes from opposing quarterbacks. With every pass, Lamar would have to be precise and fast, not allowing the Steelers' defense to exploit any weakness. He had already shown his talent with 2 touchdown passes before Hill's injury, but now the responsibility of keeping the offense alive fell on. With the pressure mounting and the game becoming increasingly difficult, Lamar Jackson needed to be more than just a good quarterback. He needed to be an absolute leader. His ability to stay calm under pressure and make precise plays would be what determined the success of the Ravens. The offense would have to adapt to the new scenario without Hill, and Lamar would be the central pillar for them. Every pass, every decision would carry even more weight, because any mistake could be fatal in such a decisive. Lamar Jackson knew that this game was being decided by the details, and without Hill, he had to be the difference maker. His ability to stay calm and execute plays perfectly would be crucial. After all, he's proven multiple times that he can carry the team on his back. But now the pressure was at an all-time high. The win against the Steelers wouldn't just be a matter of skill, but of leadership and emotional control. He needed to show that he was ready for the biggest challenge of the season. While the Ravens' offense tried to reorganize without Hill, the defense also had a chance to shine. The absence of George Pickens, the Steelers' top receiver, left Pittsburgh with a significant gap in their attack. This meant that the Ravens' defensive focus could be directed even more toward the remaining threats, such as quarterback Russell Wilson and other opposing targets. Baltimore's defense needed to pressure Wilson and limit big plays, something that had always been a strength of the Ravens. Additionally, the secondary had to avoid the mistakes that had cost them crucial wins during the season. This was the perfect moment for the Ravens' defense to step up and take control of the game. With the Steelers' offense limited, Baltimore's defense needed to be alert to every movement. The pressure on Wilson would be key to forcing the Steelers into mistakes. If the defense could force turnovers and minimize Pittsburgh's explosive plays, the Ravens would have a real chance of maintaining control of the game. The secondary, in particular, needed to be solid and not allow big receptions at crucial moments. The Baltimore defense had the opportunity to turn the game around by forcing the Steelers to play outside of their comfort zone. Taking advantage of Pickens' absence would be one of the keys to victory. Limiting Wilson's passing options could change the course of the game, giving the Ravens the chance to control the game and perhaps secure that long-awaited win over the Steelers. Now, with the injury to Justice Hill, the Ravens face a major challenge. His absence will be felt deeply, especially in such an important game. The question is, how will the team react to this? Will Lamar Jackson and the offense be able to adjust and keep up the same level of performance? The answer to that could determine the future of the season. And you, Ravens fan, what do you think will happen now? How should the team handle this loss and keep their hopes alive? Leave your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated on all the important news about the team.